Hello, this is Ashley from State Hearings, the ACMS team, and this tutorial video is going to explain the ACA rehearing process, which is now in ACMS. And we're going to start from the very beginning at the time that the rehearing is requested. Here you see on a screen the appeal. This is a fake appeal with a fake person, fake name, fake address. We are in our test environment in ACMS. So this case is closed, and there's two different ways that a claimant can request a rehearing. And I say claimant, there's two different kind of rehearing requests. There is the agency rehearing request, where the agency can request that a case be reheard, or a claimant rehearing request, where the claimant or AR can request that a case be reheard. So there's two different avenues for the request. Typically, when someone requests a rehearing, they have to request the rehearing in writing. That goes to State Hearings, and it goes to our rehearing unit, and they would be opening the task that begins the process. There is another way that a claimant can request a rehearing if they have an ACMS account. There is a button on the account that says request a rehearing. When they push that button, it asks them to upload a document, which is going to be considered the request for the rehearing. And basically what that step does, the pushing of the button on their account, is the same thing as what I'm going to show you this very first step, which is opening the rehearing request task. Typically this is going to be done by State Hearings. There could be a chance that an agency can also open this task, but that would probably be very rare. So look for it here. There it is. And what happens here is Covered California is going to go into this external queue, and they're going to resolve the whole list of cases. All they have to do is click on it, and it's going to take them to the task that they need to do. And here it is. So this is a rehearing determination external. That means Covered California is going to take a look at this case. They're going to either grant or deny this rehearing request. So at this point, a letter is going to get generated that's going to get sent to the claimant to let them know the status of their case. There is a spot in the letter that allows the person who is doing this determination to put in a paragraph. Basically, you just want to write your paragraph giving the reason why you're either granting or denying the rehearing request. So you can say something like Covered California grants this rehearing request, because, and make sure that you write this as if it's going to be a part of a letter, because it is, using correct, grammar and punctuation, etc. I know sometimes when we're filling out our task notes and stuff, we just we don't put any punctuation, or we just don't capitalize. But this is going in a letter, an official letter, so be sure that you put in good grammar and business language, etc., etc. Or, Covered California denies this rehearing request, because I think the denial requires a reason more than the grant, because if you grant a rehearing request, the claimant's just going to be happy, yes, thank you. But if you deny it, they're going to want to know why in the world did you deny this rehearing request. Then there's a bunch of different dates that are available to you. There's 1, 2, 3 agency dates, and 1, 2, 3, 4 claimant dates. So what are those? The agency dates are for agency requested rehearings. So we don't have to worry about the agency. This is a claimant requested this one. So we're going to look at these 1, 2, 3, 4 claimant dates. So this claimant withdraw date is if for some reason the claimant says, you know what, I requested that rehearing, but never mind, I don't want it anymore. So they're not really, they are withdrawing their request. So you're going to put the date if they withdrew their request in here. External rehearing determination date, so the date that Covered California made their decision on whether to grant or deny this rehearing. The rehearing recommendation date, if Covered California is not taking a stance on whether they're going to rehear or not, they can put their recommendation in and the date they made that recommendation. And then this rehearing review completed date is for state hearings to put in the date. So basically, again, we're tracking the date of the rehearing and the progress, the different steps that it's going to be taking, because it's going through so many different checks, like it's going to go to the PJ and it's going to go to Covered California. And our rehearing unit likes to make sure to keep track of the different dates, because I believe there's just a certain number of days that we have to take action regarding this request, and we need to monitor that very carefully. This DHCS rehearing determination file, that is probably not going to be used. I talked to the ACA PJ, and they said that it is extremely rare that Covered California would ever send a case to DHCS for review. I mean, it could happen, but it's extremely rare. So if perchance DHCS had to weigh in on whether this case is going to have this rehearing granted or denied, then their analysis can be uploaded right here. Okay, so let's take a look at the different actions that can happen. So again, Covered California can deny this rehearing request. They can deny as untimely. Excuse me. The claimant only has a certain amount of time to request a rehearing, and if they do it outside of that time frame, then it is untimely. So if Covered California wants to deny this rehearing request because of that timeliness issue, they can select that action right there. Or if they are just denying it outright for another reason, here's one that, again, very, very rare, forward to DHCS for DHCS review. And that's where that document will come in if DHCS reviews it. Let's just say the presiding judge that made the determination that this goes to Covered California rather than the feds made an error. And this case, the rehearing should be done by the federal folks. Then select forward for federal review. Let's just say Covered California wants to go ahead and grant this rehearing, and they want a rehearing scheduled. So it's going to be reheard. Then they would select granted rehearing to be scheduled. Once you do that, a couple of other things appear. The date that you granted the rehearing, any scheduling preferences that need to happen. This becomes a required field, which is odd. If there was no DHCS rehearing determination, then I would probably just leave that as a blank file. The other thing that Covered California can decide is they can grant a rehearing on the record, which means that an ALJ will go in and look at all of the exhibits and evidence and make a determination based on the record, rather than having a hearing all over again. And then, of course, there's that if the claimant decides that they do not want to move forward with this rehearing, then you can select withdraw. Now, whatever you select here, let's just say granted. I wonder if there's other. Let me see. If it's denied, no new fields appear. Forward for DHCS review, no new fields. Federal review, no new fields. The only one is this granted rehearing to be scheduled. Again, if there was no determination, I I guess you would put just a blank Word document that says no DHCS rehearing no DHCS rehearing determination done. And then fill out the scheduling preferences that I said and the date that you actually did push this button, this save button. Let's go with granted rehearing on the record. Same thing there. Or denied. Okay. So whatever you decide, make your choice and then hit the save button. And that is it. If you do select that this case should be reheard, then State Hearings will go ahead and schedule it or assign a judge to rehear it on the record. If it is withdrawn, then the case gets closed again. If you deny it again, the case gets closed. So most of the actions at this point now become the actions for state hearings to complete. And then Covered California would come in again at the end if there when there's a new decision made on the rehearing. Okay, that pretty much concludes my tutorial on the ACA process, rehearing process in ACMS. If you do have any questions about this process, you can contact the ACMS team at acms@dss.ca.gov. You can also contact the ACA team at shdACAoperations@dss.ca.gov. All right, thank you.